Kings, queens, regal rulers, happy Sunday. Welcome to your weekly tarot forecast for December 12th to the 18th, 2021. This week is a super active week in the stars. We have Mercury moving into Capricorn on Monday the 13th, and also that same day, Mars is moving into Sagittarius. So Mars in Sagittarius, where it's going to be until January 24th, is a really supportive energy for opening our heart to new experiences, hitting go on what it is we just want to do, what we want to explore, what we want to move forward into in 2022. This is a very sort of like adventurous, exploratory, visionary kind of energy that's really supporting us in feeling the fear and doing it anyway, if you like. So hit go on something that you want to just start doing now, that you know you need to just start doing now. What's really interesting about Mars in Sagittarius this week is that it is meeting up with the South Node, which is all about release, letting go, the past. And Mars is a blade. It's like a knife. It cuts cords with the past. So that's the invitation of Mars in Sagittarius, conjunct the South Node. We can really decide what we want to leave behind in 2021 while also harnessing this beautiful sense of inspiration for what's to come. Mars and Sagittarius is all about taking inspired action and being hopeful about the future. So also on Monday, Mercury is moving into Capricorn, where it's going to be until Jan 2nd. And this is all about really being supported in making a plan for moving forward that really sort of can be rock solid, that actually can support us. This is about cutting no corners, about really being goal oriented and thinking long-term sustainable as it relates to our process of going about achieving our goals. So while Mars in Sagittarius really is all about opening our hearts and just like doing what we want to do, we can really trust ourselves with what we are saying yes to and what we are saying no to with this beautiful supportive energy from Mercury in Capricorn. So of course, the moon is waxing its way to full all week leading up to our full moon in Gemini, which is coming to us on Saturday, December 18th. This is our final lunation of 2021, a really beautiful moment of release, a full circle moment, and a really beautiful opportunity to be able to connect the dots and have a sense of clarity that we haven't necessarily been able to have before. Gemini is the lower mind, and Sagittarius, where the sun is, the opposite sign, is the higher mind. It's the visionary, what could be. So we're going to have this just sense of being able to, wrap our heads around perhaps issues or topics that may have felt complex to us at one point here, and definitely a time to think about, just releasing what we want to leave behind in 2021 and what we're clearing space for moving forward into 2022. This full moon is also forming a trine to Jupiter and a square to Neptune. So Neptune and Jupiter are very spiritual energies, all about sort of like higher learning and spirituality and the bigger picture perspective and no boundaries, healing and things like that. So let the truth become clear and make this time a time for ritual, for saying goodbye to 2021 and giving it the send-off that it deserves, and giving yourself the gratitude that you deserve for making it through this last year and all you've learned and all the ways you've grown. It's also a really beautiful time to just think about dissolving the boundary in your mind's eye between you and your future self that you're becoming in 2022, moving forward as that person. Now, make this full moon a time to commit to you, your best self, the best version of you in our lover's year. All right, let's pull some cards for the week ahead. Three of Swords, Seven of Swords, and the Hierophant. We need to make space for our emotions this week without any judgment, without any prescribing any time limits on how long we can feel something or if we should be feeling something or not. We just need to feel however we truly feel this week, and it could be a really emotional week with the full moon. But there's so much clarity that could come through that. We could really experience some healing this week, some perspective that just grants a sense of closure. But we need to move through it. We need to move through our emotions in order to get to that closure, in order to get to that healing. So don't rush yourself. Don't rush your processes. Don't jump ahead into 2022 already. Give this moment as we wrap up 2021, give it time and space to die, like let it go and feel all the feelings that you feel around that. That can be really healing and really, I think probably illuminating with the Seven of Swords. There's this energy of, like crust that needs to come off of us, an idea about ourself and who we are that is just not compatible with the vision, that we very likely have for our 2022. This is all about limiting ideas and sort of feeling like there's a part of us that wants to escape ourselves. It's about this tendency to feel like we are not being honest with ourselves, or we can't be honest with ourselves. Maybe a little bit of shame, maybe a little bit of guilt, or there's a part of us that can't come to our life in some way. The Three of Wands is going to make that hard to ignore this week. All parts of you have to come to your life. All parts of you have to come to your life in 2022. So how big of a space can you create in your mind to like be your whole self in 2022? How big can you be? How much permission do you need to give yourself? Like how much do you need to let go of in order to like blossom into the beautiful, big, abundant, creative, unlimited version of you? With the Seven of Swords, it's really easy to think about what we don't want to do anymore, where we don't want to be anymore, what feels contracting, what feels limiting, what feels like this is not my bag, this is not for me anymore. It's really easy to feel like that's our key focus and that's our only kind of reference point. But the thing is, like, this is an interesting sort of maybe week with this Gemini and Sagittarius energy and all of this Sagittarius energy to just sort of like recognize, oh, so I've been really focused on what I just don't want anymore, that like I didn't even realize like what was possible, like what could be. That's Sagittarius, right? We can have a perspective on that this week, but we need to be willing to kind of like really hold space for how do I actually feel? Because maybe we've been distracting ourselves with our thoughts and just being like, oh, I'm not this enough, I'm not that enough, or that person would never, accept me, or whatever. Thinking about what we don't want anymore. But we can cut cords with that now, those thoughts. And the Hierophant gives us a structure to, gives us a framework to, reminds us at the very end of the day who we are and what makes us us. It's not ultimately about anything outside of us. It's about our heart and the words that we choose to share the energy of our heart, the tools that we use to share the energy of our heart. How do you want to choose to share the energy of your heart and your soul and your essence moving forward into 2022? You can decide differently now. It's all about choosing the most authentic way of moving around the world. That's the invitation. The Hierophant is the 2021 card. We've learned a lot about our truth, what is true for us, what is empowering for us, feeling like the leader of our life, feeling like we are on the right path, on our right path, living our purpose. So reflect on like the beauty that came out of challenges in 2021. Reflect on the clarity that came through about maybe the ways that you were giving your power away to other people or something else, anything else outside of you. Make this a time where you say, okay, so I have clarity around the ways that I was underestimating my own potential. I was underestimating my own power, maybe underestimating my own strength or abilities. And now I'm going to forgive myself. I'm going to forgive myself because that's the way to clear space. Forgiveness. Forgive yourself, accept yourself. Awareness is the necessary prerequisite to self-acceptance, right? And self-love and integration. And then we can move forward into creating an epic plan for 2022 that is aligned with our whole self. Our whole self. No more hiding from yourself. You don't need to do that anymore in 2022. You don't need to, have any part of your life that can't come. You can come. All of you. All of you. Because you're so much stronger that way. You're so much more you that way. Seven of Swords. Just peel it off like a scab that's ready to fall. Where are you just supposed to be? And where did 2022 show you about that? Where are you not supposed to be? Just doesn't feel right. Who are you not supposed to be? Who's not for you? Who are you not for? And what is right? What do you have a sense could be right? Even if you have no reference for that or in your life right now. Six of Cups. And ask yourself what actually nourishes you right now. This is a week for nourishing ourselves, right? Making decisions from a full cup. Choosing to move into 2022 with a full cup. Choosing to wrap up 2021 with a full cup. Honoring what we need. This is the Lord of Pleasure. Letting pleasure be our guide as we move into these last weeks of 2021 into Venus retrograde. A real invitation to think about, what do we actually value? What feels good? What do I desire next week? And winter solstice. And the third and final Saturn square Uranus and the sun moving into Capricorn. A lot of change, right? What feels good for you now? It can be that simple. The Six of Cups says simplify, simplify, simplify. And make your life, around that. Like really, really simplifying everything as we move forward into 2022. It doesn't need to be so complicated. That's not how to move forward. That's not going to propel us forward to taking inspired action with Mars and Sagittarius. This is a week to think about, how can I create the structure of my life so that I am taking inspired action and I'm creating the conditions around myself to foster that and facilitate that. Pleasure. Love to see it. All right. It's time for some earth magic. Let's pull an oracle card. No self-judgment is coming to this week. Promise yourself that now. That you will not stay stuck on a, no, I can't feel this, I can't do this, I don't have time for this. No. Be good to yourself. Be good. And if you need a reminder, DM me. Let's see what we pull here. Ancestors, generations. All right. You again. Pull this card a lot. You have within you the blood of your ancestors. You are deeply connected to your lineage, the most immediate proof of that being the physical resemblance that you have to your mother and father and perhaps your grandparents. Beyond that, although unknown to your usual senses, you are connected to an ancestry that reaches back through the millennia. This is a time to call upon the ancestors, those who are of your bloodline, as well as those ancient ones who have walked the land that you walk. Very Hierophant. What traditions are you carrying on? What is, yours to carry on? What do you feel? Next time you are outside, allow your senses to open to those ancestors who abide in the physical world. And anytime at all you allow your heart, and anytime at all, allow your heart to be open to the spirits to whom you are related through your heredity and those to whom you are connected to by virtue of the land on which you live. All right. Yeah. Knowing who you are, right? Knowing who you are and just reconnecting to that through maybe reconnecting to a place of power, a place that reminds you who you truly are. The Six of Cups is a little bit about, reconnecting to our essence, remembering why we started, as a way to just kind of refresh our orientation. Give yourself the gift of remembering who you are this week. And if that looks like just like literally doing an activity that you loved doing as a kid, or looking back on old journals or something like that, that could really help facilitate this like beautiful full circle moment that is coming to us this week with this full moon. My loves, I will see you next time, and I'm sending you so much love for this week ahead. If you would like a reading with me, hit the link in my bio. I still have spaces available for December for 2022 year ahead readings, and I would love to pull cards for you for 2022. Have a good day.